Hello, fellow duels. This is Shadow of the Moon, and today I'm actually finally, after 4 months, my God, think no, 4 or 5 months now, I am finally able to showcase and show you my DDD deck profile for April of 2023, and I am so happy I finally was able to put this deck together. I have been spending countless hours working on the deck strategies, working on the combos, because believe it or not, this deck, though, even though it is a pendulum deck, and I'm not really familiar with the pendulum aspect of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I don't usually use it all that much, this is actually very, very easy to learn how to pendulum summon because you're using Exceed, Link, Synchro, you're using all the other aspects of this deck to be able to go into your multiple monsters. And I will be posting up a 2-card combo video, which will be more like a 2.5, to show you how to have a very, very good board using DD Griffin, Dark Contract at the Gate, and then just any other DD monster. So finally, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight on into it. But I just want to say thank you to all my new subscribers and all my subscribers, everybody that watches my channel. You rock. Thank you so much for always watching my video. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so first off, we've got 3 copies of DDD Savant Kepler. Kepler is an amazing card because keep in mind that you cannot pendulum summon. Oh, sorry. When this card is normal special summon, you can activate one of the effects. You can either target a DD monster you control and return it to the hand, or you can add a Dark Contract card from your deck to your hand. You're mainly going to be using this to add a Dark Contract card from your deck to your hand, mainly Dark Contract to the Gate, because with this, 1-card combo can actually set you up with a Deuce Machinax, and can also set you up with a High Wave King Caesar and a, Gilgamesh, which are not Gilgamesh, but between those two would be able to actually get you into a very good play, and you actually still have a few negates ready to set up. And then we've got 3 copies of DDD Savant Copernicus. Copernicus, obviously, you're going to be running 3 of these in the deck. This card is normal special summon. You can send a DD monster or Dark Contract card from your deck to the graveyard, except this, and you can only use the effect once per turn. So mainly you're going to be using this to send Necro Slime, Lumia, and you're going to be sending a Dark Contract card from your deck to the graveyard. So a very, very good card in this deck. And then 3, probably quite possibly one of the best DDD cards in this deck is going to be DD Griffin, because if you control a DD monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position, and also has a great secondary effect that if this card is pendulum summoned, you can discard a DD or Dark Contract card, draw a card, and if this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can add a DD card from your deck to your hand, except DD Griffin. So this is a great way to add any DD card from your deck to your hand to go in for fodder, to also add DD Slime, because DD Slime can actually help you fusion summon from your hand. And just this all around is a great, great card because you want to see this in your opening hand. This is one of the best DDD cards next to Kepler. And then 2 copies of DD Orthros. Orthros is a great card as well because if you take battle or effect damage, you can special summon this card from your hand, and it is a tuner, so this can help you go into Siegfried, or even help you go in from this in a level 6 monster to go into Baron de Fleur, because Baron de Fleur is in this deck. You kind of have to have Baron de Fleur in this deck because it is pretty much, you do synchro a lot. Let's see, kind of measure it. There we go. All right, so you got those right here, if I can get them. And then the 1-ups, obviously, you are playing quite a bit of 1-ups in this deck because since it is a DD deck, the ones that I just showed you are the main cards in the deck. So you've got your Zero King Rage, you've got your Savant Thomas, you've got your King Abyss Ragnarok, and you've got your copy of DD Cerberus. So these are all pretty much going to be your 1-ups in the deck. Obviously, King Zero Rage, when you're using it as a pendulum summon, so basically when you pendulum summon this card, you're going to bring back the 2 pendulum monsters that are in your extra deck and everything. DD Cerberus is going to help you modify the level of a DD monster that you have to increase, to make it a level 4, which can help you go into Wave King Caesar. You've got DD King Abyss Ragnarok, which if this special summon monsters you do take 1,000 damage, but you can also special summon the monsters. You got DD Savant Thomas. And ZD Savant Thomas is a Pendulum 6. Obviously, you're going to be using it for his Pendulum effects. You can add a face-up DD Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand that can only use the effect once per turn. So, mainly, you're just using these for, 0, 5, 6. So, you're going to be using them to set up in the Pendulum Zone. That's why these 4 are in here. Otherwise, there's really no other reason to kind of have these in here. So, that's the reason why they are. The main cards are in the deck are, the Griffin and, all the other ones that I was showing. And then, for the non-Pendulum cards, Obviously, you've got 3 copies of DD Slime. You got to have DD Slime in this deck. You can basically fusion summon from your hand by discarding DD Slime and another Pendulum monster, so it works very well with the deck. 1 copy of Necro Slime. If this is in your graveyard, you can banish this and another DD monster to fusion summon from your extra deck. And then 1 copy of DD Lamia. Lamia, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can send a DD card or Dark Contract card from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard, except her, and then special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. So she's a great way to special summon back to the field. And then for the hand traps, obviously you're going to be running, I'm running Bystials in this deck. You do not have to run this. And yes, these are Korean versions because Bystials can be somewhat expensive. This is more of a budget option. I do have the actual Bystial cards, but those are currently up for trade, so that's why they're going to be in the trade binder. And then obviously you're going to need 3 Ash Blossoms because Ash is an important card in this deck. This is a very useful hand trap right now. That's why it's in here, but if you don't want Ash, you can have pretty much any other card that you want. So it's all free reign if you want Ghost Ogre, if you want Ghost Spell, it doesn't matter. So that's going to be it for the monsters. Let's move on to the spells. So we've got 3 Dark Contracts of the Gate. This is the best Dark Contract card in the deck, because during your main phase, you can add a DD monster from your deck or to your hand. So you're going to add like DD Griffin or any other card. And then also, once per turn, during standby phase, you take 1,000 damage. But mainly, this is going to be on the field, and you're going to use this to tribute. You're going to tribute this card using Deus Machina's effect to be able to negate. And this is a very good card. That's why you want 3 of those in the deck. You've got 1 Dark Contract with this Dark Contract with Swamp King. Obviously, you're going to fusion summon a Fiend monster from your extra deck. Use a monster from your hand or field as material. So this is a great extra card as well. And then other way, you have Dark Contract with Patent License. I always found it's funny because it's like paperwork. This like giant amount of paperwork. Which, if you do know the DD and DDD archetype, it's based off of Tyrant, Men of Power, or it's also based off of different positions like a company and stuff, like the higher ups like CEO, president, and everything. And I always found that really, really cool. And I love the the fact that there's like Caesar, Genghis, Siegfried. I mean, it's really, really just really cool to see that. Alexander. That's why I love DDDs, because it has so much, like, it has lore, a lot of lore behind it. So you're gonna have Dark Contract with the Patent License. This is your field spell. If your opponent special summons a monster with the same card type, fusion, synchro, whatever, as a DD monster you control, except during damage steps, you can inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. Also, when this card is on the field, your opponent cannot special summon monsters with the same card type as the special summon monster for the rest of the turn. So, very good to kind of lock down your opponent. Also, it's a great way. It's a great field spell to have. And then you're going to be running, for this deck, I'm running 3 Dark Ruler No Mores. This is kind of to stop your opponent on turn 2, when you're going turn 2, to kind of shut off their effects so they don't go too crazy. And then you've got Ready Fusion. Ready Fusion is kind of like the tech card in this deck. You can use this to actually fusion summon for a fusion monster that I'm going to be showing in the deck, to make it a little bit easier for you to go into Baron de Floor, and also to have another monster on board. So yeah, Fusion Summon's actually a really nice tech card. I actually picked this up from another person, and when I saw it, I was actually decided to add it, and I was like, hey, that's actually pretty good. And then you've got Call by the Grave. Obviously, this is going to banish a card from your opponent's graveyard. And then you've got Monster Reborn in here. This can be whatever you want. I just added Monster Reborn in here because it's another special summon, and it also helps with it. And then lastly, for the traps, we're just playing 1 DDD Headhunt. So if you control a DD monster, target a face-up monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase of the turn. So it's basically kind of like a Snatch Steal or a Brain Control or Change of Heart. And in phase, but its effects are negated, and it can't declare an attack. It's also treated as a special summon monster from the ESA deck if it is also treated as a DDD monster. So it's another way for you to be able to take another one of their monsters, and it's a great little kind of interrupt, because it makes it to where you take their monster, and in the phase of the turn, its effects are negated, and kind of just use it as fodder. Alright, so that's going to be it for the main deck, guys. Let's move on to the extra deck. So first off, 2 copies of Deviser, King Deus Machina's. This guy is obviously the boss monster of the deck. What you're going to do is, it's so easy to bring this out, because like if you just have so much as like a Gilgamesh or something, you can overlay the Gilgamesh with this, and you either one, detach 2 materials for this card, or destroy a face-up Dark Contract card, and then when you negate the monster's effect, you actually get to take control of the monster. So it really, really does help, and it's a great card in this deck. All right, and then we've got 1 King High King Genghis, which I don't summon whole often, and then the 2 level 6 Flame King Genghis. If you summon a DDD monster, you can actually special summon a DDD monster from your graveyard. when he's on the field. So you would have go into like Deus Ex with him on the field, and then you can special summon from your graveyard King Wave Caesar, whoever you want. So this is a great card to be able to have, because you can also overlay those two into the rank 6 High Wave King Caesar, which I'm going to be playing right now. He shuts off effects. So basically, you're going to go into this first, and then later on in the turn, you're going to want to go into Wave King Caesar, because when a spell trap or monster effect is activated that includes an effect that would special summon a monster, you can attach one material from this card and negate the activation. If you do, destroy the card. And then you can make the other one other DD monster you control gain 1800 attack until the end phase of the turn. So it's actually pretty useful. It's really good to be able to negate. It's a great interrupt. And then we have DDD Gus High King Alexander, and we've got Siegfried. Siegfried can negate during either player's turn. You can target a face-up spell or trap card on the field. Target has effects is negated until the next standby phase, so it kind of shuts it off. And then DDD Gus High King Alexander is not optional. It's optional in this deck. You do not need it, but I wanted it because it is another DDD monster. And just, I mean, it's a 3000 beat stick, and also it's pretty easy to get out. Obviously, you're going to be going for Baron de Fleur, but if you're not able to go into Baron de Fleur, that is your second best one. And the Marksman King Tell, mainly he's in here because you can decrease his attack by 1000 and then do 1000 points of damage by attaching a material to your opponent. So it's actually pretty good. Good way to kind of whittle them down. And then 3 copies of DDD Abyss King Gilgamesh, quite possibly one of the best cards in this deck, because when this card is link summoned, or if this card is special summoned, you can activate the effect. You cannot special summon turn. It locks you into DD monsters, but unfortunately also you can place 2 pendulum monsters. This is the way to get your pendulum scales set up for this deck, is to be able to play this guy, and then you're going to set up one on one side, one on the other, and then you're going to pendulum summon from the extra deck and then go from there. This guy is absolutely amazing in this deck. You need 3 of him in the deck to be able to work, because he works so well with it. And he has so much synergy, and it is the easiest way to get set your pendulum scales. And then obviously 1 copy of Baron de Fleur. If you're not able to afford this, that's okay. This is more of a budget deck. They did reprint this, and if you're still not able to get it, you can replace this with any other level 10, or if you just want to have another level 8, you could have another level 8 like Borreload Savage Dragon if you wanted that, or you could have Draco Berserker if you play it early on. It's easy to kind of get this in before they nib you, so you can just play this probably and have this like as your 3rd summon, and then you're kind of protected for that turn for their attacks. And then you've got, last but not least, your copy of Soul Hunter, which is an old card, but it is a level 6 Fiend Dark type, so it does work with the deck. This is what you're going to be targeting with Fusion, Ready Fusion, because it is a level 6. You go from Hiss and DD Griffin to go into your copy of Baron de Fleur. Alright, so that's going to be it for the whole deck, guys. I'm really glad that you enjoyed. This deck is absolutely bonkers. I love this deck. I love being able to have fun and play around with it. I'm still learning the combos of it, because it is somewhat difficult, because for someone like me who has never played with pendulum monsters before, but all in all, I'm just really glad that I actually have this deck now. This deck is so much fun to play with, and it's honestly has become one of my favorite decks, hands down, like easily, next to like my Black Wings, my Harpies, and my Red Eyes deck. So yeah, and then I do have a Red Eyes deck profile that I'm going to be posting this month, so stay tuned for that. I'm still working on it a little bit, because I have to try to figure out exactly how I'm going to go through with that, what route I'm going to take with the deck, because there's so many routes that you can go with that. So, alright, so that's going to be it for this deck profile. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, I do apologize that it took a while to get here. I kept running into cards not showing up. I had to repurchase cards. Cards took about 3 weeks to a month to get here. So yeah, it was quite a long journey. But alright, thank you so much for watching with that. And with that, see you guys next time. Later.